the extremely important, especially from an internet talk show perspective, the extremely vital subject of net neutrality is being taken up by the Federal Communications Commission this week. And this has been an ongoing debate. You know, if you're following this issue, if you're familiar with this issue, you know this is the latest in a long line of stories. But this vote this week, scheduled for tomorrow on Tuesday actually, is extremely significant because it's going to basically determine how the government regulates the communication telecom companies
right.
and their broadband
internet connection,
internet usage,
and the proponents of net neutrality like Al Franken have come out and said, the regulations that the committee are going to pass need to be stringent. They need to be strict so that big companies like Comcast can't come in, take over the internet, and then start to slow down its competitors' websites.
Or competitors' website, or people who don't pay to have their stuff faster, right? There was a case of Comcast throttling people who were going to file sharing services like BitTorrents, right? They would throttle those connections, make them go slower to disincentivize people from using them.
Right.
And the FCC shut this down, and they went to the courts, and the court said no, like the FCC has the power to do this. So what Franken and net neutrality advocates want to see is them to not only impose and continue to impose strict outlines and regulations on broadband customers and wired broadband companies, but also on the industry of mobile broadband.
Right.
Because now we're into this whole world of smartphones, And the government's always been a little slow to respond to things like this in technology, but when they have the chance now to kind of reclassify the system and say, no, mobile broadband deserves to be regulated just the same as regular cabled broadband, they're getting a lot of blowback from Republicans in Congress and these big telecom lobbying communities. So they seem to have reached some kind of compromise, and from what we've seen, I think the compromise seems fair as long as the FCC has the power to continue to look at the evolution of mobile internet.
They do, and they'll have the power to, if a mobile carrier is slowing websites or access to data, then they can. I believe it'll almost be like a blacklist.
Right, but at the same time, it's like if you give them the loophole to do it, they'll do it. And so that's what Franken and these advocates are saying is like, no, you have to outline it clearly that they can't do that so that they won't even think about doing that. And if they do it, there's quick and rapid ways to
and that's the regulation concerning whether or not businesses are managed or unmanaged. That's where the loophole lies in that rhetoric of the bill, and so that's what Franken has come out, and others on the committee who've come out and said, look, like this needs to be stronger wordage. We need to be able to know exactly what we can and cannot do, and it seems like they're not 100% confident in that, but that they are confident enough to come to the table and actually pass something. So we'll see what happens on Tuesday. Of course, net neutrality isn't one of those issues that's just going to go away.
No.
It'll be here for a while. We'll continuously have this debate.